Robert F. Kennedy Jr., Donald Trump's pick to be the leader of the Department of Health and Human Services, did not have a very good week. Two major events happened that significantly threaten Kennedy's nomination to lead HHS. The first, of course, being that the independent watchdog group Accountable.us, has accused Kennedy of felony voter fraud. Here is what Accountable.us says happened. Kennedy lives in California with his wife, actress Cheryl Hines. And yet he registered and voted in the state of New York in this past November's election. Little weird, right? You live in California, that's your legal residence, yet you registered to vote in New York and you voted in New York. If what they are alleging is true, that would be voter fraud. Kennedy, however, says, hold the phone here, guys. I rent a room from a friend in New York, so therefore I can vote there. Not exactly. Let me read you this. A New York Supreme Court in Albany found that Kennedy was using an address in Katona, New York, my apologies if I mispronounced that, to vote from while he actually lived in California. Public records show that he voted from that same address this November, according to the Watchdog group. Kennedy said he'd been renting a room from a friend at the address, while the friend's wife testified in court that he'd only spent a single night there. The Watchdog group says, quote, not actually living in New York in the eyes of the law apparently did not stop RFK Jr. from casting his election ballot there illegally. If RFK Jr. is so dismissive of the law in his personal matters, how can he be trusted to properly apply the law when it comes to our public health? Senators should press Kennedy on whether he intends to play by his own rules and thumb his nose at the law as HHS Secretary, like President-elect Donald Trump is wont to do. So I'm not sure, I haven't been able to find the actual information as to why the Supreme Court in Albany was already looking into this issue of Kennedy. I don't know if they've concluded anything that he did or did not vote illegally, but these allegations are obviously pretty serious because if it happened that way, that would be a felony. That is very, you don't want that in a federal appointee. You don't want it in a president, but we're going to have that anyway. But, that seems pretty serious. But as I mentioned, that's just one of over 15,000 problems that erupted for Kennedy this past week as a group of 15,000 doctors and other medical professionals signed on to a letter urging the Senate to not confirm Kennedy because they believe his beliefs are exceptionally dangerous. Here is what they said in their letter. His decades of spreading dangerous disinformation, undermining public health efforts, and promoting conspiracy theories make him wholly unfit to lead the nation's most critical health agencies. The health and well-being of 336 million Americans depend on leadership at HHS that prioritizes science, evidence-based medicine, and strengthening the integrity of our public health system. RFK Jr. is not only unqualified to lead this essential agency, he is actively dangerous. Kennedy's spokesperson fired back and says that this attack is just another grift designed to bilk donors. A grift. That doesn't even make any sense. Your denial of this letter from 15,000 doctors is the dumbest rebuttal I've ever seen. They just want money. They're doctors. They got money. Okay? They don't need to bilk anybody out of anything. And this isn't bilking anything out of anyone. That, I don't even know how you came to that conclusion. That's just a very dumb thing to say. We haven't seen, by the way, a group of 15,000, a group of 10,000, 5,000, or even 1,000, or even 100 doctors come forward and say, yes, RFK Jr. is the best for the job, right? That's the thing we should be looking at. We should not just be looking at what exists. We should be looking at what does not exist. When you have thousands of doctors saying, do not confirm this man because he's a danger to public health, and you don't have thousands of doctors saying, yes, confirm him, he knows what he's talking about, that says a lot. It's not always what is said. Sometimes you also have to look at what is not being said. But these doctors said exactly what I've been saying. He's not qualified. Kennedy is not a doctor. Kennedy is not a scientist. Kennedy is a friggin' lawyer, an environmental lawyer for the most part. And I know because I worked with him at Ring of Fire for over 10 years. It was always environmental. And yes, I guess he worked on some pharmaceutical cases here and there, but working on a few, specific pharmaceutical cases, a doctor does that not make. So I do not trust him on the issue of public health. On environment, I actually do. If that were where he stayed, if he hadn't gone into the vaccine garbage, I would be perfectly fine with him taking over the EPA. But that's not where we're at. He does not know about public health. This is not his forte. It is not his area of expertise. It is not something that he has any formal training in. And therefore, he is not qualified for this position. That is all we need to know. But if you don't even want to accept that, then maybe listen to the 15,000 doctors telling you the exact same thing. Did you know that you might be missing out on wonderful content from me? I mean, you're here already because clearly you like what you see. So if you're not already, please do subscribe to the channel. Make sure you like the video, share them with your friends and family, but also follow me across the rest of the social media world. And it's not that hard to do. Whether it's X or Twitter, whatever you want to call it, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, Threads, on every one of those platforms, you can find me at the username @FarronBalanced. Simple enough, right? So get on it. And if you don't feel like going to each one of those outlets individually, lucky for you, we have links in the description of this video to take you right to my pages across all of social media. So don't miss a minute. And while you're at it, make sure you're also subscribed to the Ring of Fire YouTube channel, which I have been hosting for many, many years now. We've got more than 1 million subscribers over there, and there is fresh content over there every single day of the week. So again, if you're not subscribed, subscribe to this channel, and while you're at it, go subscribe to Ring of Fire at youtube.com/The Ring of Fire and @FarronBalanced across every social media platform. That, of course, is not considered just a far-right hellscape. Well, maybe Twitter is, but that's a story for a different day.